Face my fears. Statement I've heard so many times it's become cliche. I believe there's even a song with that title. Must be a couple dozen for all I care. But the thing is, even though it's cliche advice, when you try and apply it to yours, you wonder if it's even valid, because I'm not trying to face my fear of skydiving or jumping into a pool or dogs or something. It's something I've been putting off for a long time. And to be very frank, it's not the usual run-of-the-mill, I want to propose to the girl, I want to propose to my crush or something like that. Well, I mean, that kind of is in the pipeline, but I'm not going to be proposing to anyone anytime soon, right? I used to be part of a certain group. I don't want to make it sound like I was in a cult, but looking back, they had some cultish ideas. It's not even funny. Obviously, I left for the integrity of my own mental health. Now, initially, I had this whole plan out in my mind that, you know what, I'm going to wait for this moment, and it's going to be like this grand ceremony of me leaving. But then when I spoke to someone close to me, who was actually trained in psychology, she said when it comes to these kinds of things, just rip the plaster off. And she, funny enough, I never told her about that grand plan I had in my mind, but she did note that oftentimes when it comes to these things, we do have that grand plan. We do have that image, that video playing of that great event where finally, after years of arduous torture, when we finally cannot take it anymore, we have an Oscar-worthy performance put up there that everyone will remember. Now, it's not that the Oscar-worthy performance is necessarily bad or anything. I think what she was driving home is that why are you going to subject yourself to that arduous torture when you know that this is clearly not for you? You know, you have made that decision. And it's not that, okay, yes, looking back, some people from that group have that cultish mentality. And there are good people in that group as well. But the fact of the matter is that even if I'm to completely weed and filter out the bad elements and just leave in everything positive, I'm no longer the same guy who entered into that group, who saw it as a means of support, development, prosperity. I've become a new person entirely, and I've moved on in life. The journey continues. At the very least, I would like for that journey to be respected. Of course, you know how it goes. People take it the wrong way. But you know what? I decided that I can't do this anymore. I can't stay here. And so I left. With a ceremony, no. And you can blame the pandemic partially for that, because most group activities halted thanks to the pandemic, and that really allowed me to literally disappear from their members or their ranks without a trace, and find myself and what ticks with me. Now, coming back to the topic of fear. The thing is, now that the pandemic, well, it's still on. I don't think anyone believes that, it's gone away. But things are a bit more relaxed. Rightfully or wrongly is a different debate, but things are more relaxed and group activities are resuming. And for a long time, because I'm in Botswana, we were kind of on the back end of everything. Like, last year I would see some of my friends and connections going home for Thanksgiving or Christmas and all these things, as in like places in the States and the UK. There was some semblance of like social gathering taking place. And in Botswana, there were some gatherings, but they would just be reduced to like, the 5 people in the family, or a family and a guest or 2 guests or something, like very small, nothing on the scale of the family party, year-end party that you always see pictures and videos of at this time of year. So, that being said, this group that I left, they have surfaced again. And you see, although I am quite firm in my position that I don't want to be with them anymore, I know people who are dear to me, whom I'd lay my life down for, who still have affiliations with the group, and it's not my place or position to tell them that they are absolute idiots for still wanting to remain in the group, because everyone has that journey. But hell, if they choose to be with that group until the day they die, that is up to them. And everyone has a different interpretation. I don't want to be the intolerant one and come out and, start a genocide, so to speak. Not a physical one, but a genocide of ideas? No, that could never be me. Someone who is a maverick, who thinks differently from 99% of the population, I think it would be very hypocritical of me to want my opinions to be the end-all be-all of everything. But that's not the point. I don't discourage anyone from associating with this group or their activities. For all I care, I've moved on, and I've moved on to better things for me and more advanced places, more advanced methods of basically achieving the same goals, at least in my opinion. And if you disagree, more power to you. Don't lose your marbles, just take it and move on. And now they have come knocking on my back door or front door, whatever. Well, maybe not literally, maybe not yet, but they are in the town I find myself in right now, since I am visiting parents. The thing is, I did go to the area they were in today, not because I wanted to show them that I am different. I think by now, people have a gist. Many people have grasped that I've left, at least the intelligent ones. Some may still be in denial, and now that is up to them. But when it comes to facing my fears, ordinarily I would be going to that place more often, or with an extra air of freedom. I feel that freedom is somewhat clipped now that they are in town, which perhaps is a natural feeling to have. Is it that I fear them? Or is it... I don't fear the group. I couldn't care less about the group. I couldn't care less about the censure that's going to bring me, to be absolutely frank with you. Because I came to the conclusion that most of their members weren't good for my mental health, so why would I care what they think of me? I left them for a reason, genius. But now, when it comes to maybe going through the whole ordeal again, because I know what it's like to be part of a group and then publicly announce that I don't care about you guys anymore. I want to go my own way. And the amount of BS that's thrown your way, I know about that. I've got experience, and I've got experience of what comes after, in terms of mental health and trying to not die, literally. Don't want to make this too much of a bleak episode, but those are things that happen, and we should speak more openly about mental health. So maybe a part of me doesn't want to go through that again. But that's why I do these musings, because now I have clarity. Now I know that even with this group in the background, and even with who I am today, I know I'm no longer part of that group, but there are others who stuck with me since before I was part of the group, whilst I was in the group, and now that I've definitely left, there are others who will lay down their lives for me. Not that I asked them to. And there are others who will always be supportive of me and bring me to account when I am being an idiot. And no, leaving the group was not one of my more idiotic actions. So that being said, I'm going to continue being me, separate from the group. I'm going to continue going to that place as many times as I please. And I'm going to continue on the journey that I decided I would chart when I left that group, and continue with everything that I believe God is guiding me to. If this whole musing was only there to get me to this conclusion, then I'm really glad that I did it. Till next time. Assalamu alaikum.